Okay, everybody, we got a real treat for you. Jensen Huang is here.
Sit here.
No, right there.
Sit here.
The hot seat. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Thank you. The #1 podcast in the world.
We were saying the #1 company in the world.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're a fan of the pod. You listen to the pod.
This is Norman, our host.
Yeah. Yes, and there's Steve. What's the story with the jacket? You got one of those? You have like 6.
I have something like 50 or 60 of them.
So
You really?
Yeah.
Wow.
what is that, Tom Ford?
I think so. This one is, I think so.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it. I tried that on. It was
Thank
like
you.
way too much money.
Well, you guys are all so fashionable.
Yeah,
Coming
right.
from you guys, it actually means something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
Oh, look at you. Look at you.
Hey, we've been talking a lot about opportunity. You've talked.
Shimon is like a model.
He is.
Okay, good. I quit.
He's
I'm
definitely
good.
in his head. He's like,
Is Tom Ford your favorite? Who's your favorite? Right now?
My favorite is whatever my wife gets me.
She dresses you,
As
right.
soon as she gets it for me, it's my favorite.
Yes, same with me.
smart man. That's how you got up
Nobody
to the
wears
top.
wears a suit better than Jacob. Good God.
Yeah.
How does that
Jacob
happen?
is a handsome man.
Just trying to keep up with you guys.
I have 2 questions for you. Take them in whichever order you like. We've been talking a lot about job displacement, opportunity, short-term, long-term. Obviously, you get to see everybody applying the technology because, hey, listen, you've got the best product in town to build on. Therefore, everybody explains to you their hopes, their dreams, so you have a unique way of looking at the playing field. You have complete information that we don't have. So I want to know what you think. Don't worry, we'll fix it. What you think.
Can I fix that in edit?
What you think about job creation, transfer, displacement, et cetera. And then the second one, I've just always been curious. You got all these important people knocking on your door. You got Zuck, you got E, you got Sam Altman. He seems like he's a little bit of a headache, I'll be honest. But
He's great.
he's great. I'm
Sam's
joking. How do you allocate the H100s and whatever else you're selling them and still have them all like you? Because they must ask sometimes, hey, can I get extra? I'll pay you extra. So just the allocation of a finite amount of resources and then jobs.
First of all, I wrote off $5 billion worth of hoppers. If anybody would like to have some extras,
You got them.
just give me a call. Jobs. We use AI across our whole company. Every single software engineer today uses AI, not one left behind. 100% of our chip designers use AI. We are busier than ever. And the reason for that is because we have so many ideas that we want to go pursue. AI makes it possible for us to go pursue those ideas now that we're not doing the mundane stuff. And so I think the first idea is the more productive you are as a company, so long as you have more ideas, you could pursue those ideas. You'll go after those ideas. And I think that AI, in my case, is creating jobs. It causes us to be able to create things that other people customers would like to buy. It drives more growth. It drives more jobs. All that goes together. The other thing that to remember is that AI is the greatest technology equalizer of all time.
Okay, explain.
Everybody's a programmer now.
Yes.
You used to have to know C and then C++ and Python. And, in the future, everybody can program a computer, right? Just have to get up. And if you don't know how to program a computer, you don't even know how to program an AI, just go up to the AI and say, how do I program an AI? And the AI explains to you exactly how to program the AI. Even when you're not sure exactly how to ask a question, you say, what's the best way to ask the question? And it'll actually write the question for you. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so it's a great equalizer. Everybody is going to be augmented by AI. Everybody's an artist now. Everybody's an author now. Everybody's a programmer now. That is all true. And so we know that AI is a great equalizer. We also know that it's not likely that although everybody's job will be different as a result of AI, everybody's jobs will be different. Some jobs will be obsolete, but many jobs will be created. The one thing that we know for certain is that if you're not using AI, you're going to lose your job to somebody who uses AI. That, I think, we know for certain.
Yeah.
There's not a software programmer in the future who's going to be able to hold their own, typing by themselves.
Yeah, you
That's
can't
just-
raw dog it. No.
No, not anymore.
No raw dog.
Not anymore. You can't raw dog it. And so
Tell us.
I'll be sure to go home and tell people.
Yeah, exactly.
"Hey guys,
That's
you're not going to
really-
raw dog this.
Yeah, get your co-pilot on. Now, what about the allocation of all these?
Okay,
how do
so
you
the way
deal with
we
that
allocate is
politically?
this.
Yeah.
The way we allocate is this. place a PO.
Okay.
That's
So
it. Just
you,
that's
you
it.
go to the register,
You pay, you get it.
order.
First, in the old days with Hopper, it happened so fast. It wasn't possible to keep up with the demand. But now, we disclose our roadmap to all of our partners a year in advance. Gives everybody a chance to plan with us. They decide how much power and how much data center space and how much CapEx they want to allocate. We plan together. We work on transitions. It's really quite orderly these days.
What's the lifespan now? I was looking into how they're amortizing, these units 4 or 5 years. What happens to this massive build out in year 6, 7, and 8? What will be the use of those computers if you keep building such great products that replace them at 2, 3, 4 times? What do we do with all that?
Concepts are happening right now. The first thing is every generation we increase the performance by X factors.
Yeah.
If the perf per watt goes up by X factors, whatever your data center power is, we just increase your revenues by X factors.
Right.
So perf per watt is equal to revenues. Perf per dollar equals the cost. And so when we increase your perf per dollar by X factors, we reduce your cost by X factors. Does that make sense? That's the first idea. And so the reason why we're moving so fast is we're trying to increase everybody's revenues, we're trying to decrease everybody's cost so that we have the benefit of driving AI cost down as far as possible so that we can have thinking AI.
Right.
It's not that we're trying to make, AI so that it generates 1,000 tokens and that's it. In the future, you're going to be generating millions of tokens and then generates an answer as a result of that. You got to think a long time. And so you got to get that cost down. The second idea is, if you look at the residual value of NVIDIA gear right now, Hopper, for example, 1 year later, it's probably about 80%, 75 to 80% of the value, of the original value. And then 1 year later is another kind of like 65%. And then 1 year later is like 50%. The reason, and right now, if you try to get Hoppers in the cloud, it's all sold out. The reason for that is because CUDA is so programmable, and we're constantly, the whole world, not just us, the whole world is doing open source development, improving its effectiveness. And so what's amazing is the performance of Hopper increases over time because we're improving the software stack. Hopper improved in performance by us and others by a factor of 4 in the time that we shipped it. Now, you can't get that out of a CPU.
Right.
Jensen, can you explain to us Elon's tweet and the impact to your industry? He said, we're going to have 50 million H100 equivalents in 5 years from now. And everybody started to feverishly do the math, because if he has 50 million H100 equivalents, then OpenAI will have that much or more, Meta will have that much or more, Google, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Can you just explain to us laymen what that means, what he just said, and how it impacts your business?
One of the biggest observations about AI is that there's the industry of applications that AI has created. It's a revolutionary technology. Every industry will be revolutionized. New applications will be created, so on and so forth. All the things that we know. Agentic AI, reasoning AI, robotics AI, so on and so forth. We know all those things now. Every industry, healthcare, education, transportation, you name it, manufacturing, all revolutionized. The one part that we observed and made a great contribution to is that in order to sustain those applications, you need factories of AI. You have to produce AI. Unlike software, you write the software and that's it. In the case of AI, you have to continuously produce it, generate the tokens.
Right.
In a lot of the same ways that energy production was a large part of the economy a couple, 200-300 years ago, I think it actually peaked out at 30%.
Yep.
There's going to be a whole industry of just producing tokens. And this is going to be the new infrastructure, just as we have the energy production infrastructure, we have the internet infrastructure, and we got to build out that plumbing, and now we have to build out the AI infrastructure. My sense is that we're probably, a couple of $100 billion, maybe a few $100 billion into a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure build-out.
Per year.
Yeah.
What about manufacturing?
And the reason for that is because you want the new infrastructure, which increases revenue, drive your cost down.
Right.
That's right.
What about manufacturing in the U.S.? So where are we? We've seen stories of TSMC in Arizona. We asked this question earlier about how it's going. Is the U.S. equipped? What is it going to take for us to get there, to have onshore fabs?
First of all, you guys know you're talking about the United States. I know that there's lots of concerns and everybody's worried about competition and things like that, but we are talking about America here. This is unquestionably the most technology-rich country in the world, and this is the most innovative countries in the world. And the computer industry I have the honor to serve is the single greatest industry our country has ever produced. I think we could acknowledge that.
Yep.
The level of leadership of the computer industry, the technology industry, is just unimaginable worldwide. And so this is our national treasure. This is one of our country's assets. We have to make sure that we continue to advance it. Onshoring. Next generation manufacturing is going to be insanely technology driven. Robotics technology, AI technology. You're going to have factories that are going to be orchestrated by AI, orchestrating a whole bunch of robots that are AI, building products that are effectively AIs, right? So you're going to have this in layers of inception. And the amount of technology necessary to create that is really insane. I love President Trump's vision, bold vision, of reindustrializing the United States. That entire band of industry that's missing, we outsource too much of it, frankly. We don't need to insource all of it, but we ought to bring onshore the most advanced, the most economy sustaining, driving, national security enhancing parts of the industry. People always degrade down to tennis shoes. We don't have to go there. We just manufacture chips and AI supercomputers. In Arizona and Texas, we will, in the next 4 years, probably produce about $500 billion worth of AI supercomputers. That $500 billion worth of AI supercomputers will probably drive a few $1 trillion worth of AI industry.
Right.
And so that's only in the next several years. And they're doing great. Arizona's doing great.
And so there's a lot of talk about American competitiveness today, and the White House rolled out its AI action plan, and NVIDIA is making very big bets on the United States. And so as a CEO of a global company, what do you see are America's unique advantages that other countries don't have?
America's unique advantage that no country possibly have is President Trump. And let me explain why. One, on the first day of his administration, he realized the importance of AI and he realized the importance of energy. For the last, I don't know how many years, energy production was vilified, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
We can't create new industries without energy. You can't reshore manufacturing without energy. You can't sustain a brand new industry like artificial intelligence without energy. If we decide as a country the only thing we want is IP, to be an IP only, a services only country, then we don't need much energy. But if we want to produce things, something as vital as artificial intelligence, then we need energy. And so I'm just delighted to see to accelerate AI innovation, to accelerate the growth of energy so that we can sustain this new industry and go after the new industrial revolution. Big deal.
Can you talk about physical AI versus data center AI? We talked a little bit about this today. Is there a threshold where you see physical AI accelerating and ultimately the deployment of chips outpaces the deployment of chips in data centers? Is that where the world evolves to, or what do you think
Everything in the world,
construction of the world looks like?
Yeah,
Chips.
excellent. Everything in the world that moves will be autonomous someday. And that someday is probably around the corner. So everything that moves. We already know that your lawnmower is going to, who's going to be pushing a lawnmower around? That's craziness. Unless you want to. I mean, it's, And so I think everything that moves will be autonomous. And every machine, every company that builds machines will have two factories. There's the machine factory, for example, cars, and then there's the AI factory to create the AI for the cars. And so maybe you're a machine factory to build humanoid robots. You need an AI factory to build a brain for the humanoid robot.
Right.
And so every company in the future, in fact, the future of industry is really 2 factories.
Yeah.
Tesla already has 2 factories, right? Elon has a giant AI factory. He was very early in recognizing that he needs to have an AI factory to sustain the cars that he has. Now he's got AIs in the car, but in the future, instead of, I imagine that in the future, instead of a whole lot of people remotely monitoring air traffic control, it'll be a giant AI that's doing the remote control. And then only in the case of the giant AI can handle it with a person come in to intercept. And so I think you see that these industries in the future, every industrial company will be an AI company, or you're not going to be an industrial company.
There was a couple of moments throughout the course of this year where people almost threw in the towel and said, "Oh, we lost to China," right? There was the DeepSeek moment. Then maybe last week, there was this Kimi model moment. But then it kind of fizzled out. Can you just explain to us how big of a threat they really are in terms of getting to supremacy, getting there first, to whether it's AGI or superintelligence?
Yeah, excellent question. The Chinese AI labs are the world's leading open model companies. They offer the most advanced open models. Open source is fantastic. If not for open source, we know startups won't exist. And to the extent that we believe that the future industry is going to be today's startups, they're going to need open source models. And DeepSeek, when it came out, it was a great win for the United States. It was an incredible win. What people did, and two reasons. First, imagine if DeepSeek came out and it only ran on Huawei. I just want us to pretend. Use that thought experiment.
Totally.
Now you got 2 parallel universes.
No,
Exactly. Could you imagine if QN came out and it only worked on non-American tech stack? Yeah. Could you imagine if Kimi came out and it only worked on non-American tech stack? And these are the top 3 open models in the world today. It is downloaded hundreds of millions of times. So the fact of the matter is, American tech stack, all over the world, being the world's standard, is vital to the future of winning the AI race. You can't do it any other way. We've got to be, as you know, any computing platform wins because of developers.
Yeah.
And half of the world's developers are in China.
So speaking of developers,
the second thing, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
The second thing, and it's really a big deal. When DeepSeek came out, we were thrilled for the second reason, which is we now have a super efficient reasoning model. And the reason for that is because the old models are one shot. You give it a question, everything was memorized. The pre-training is basically memorization and generalization, 2 concepts. Post-training is teaching you how to think. And so now with DeepSeek R1, Kimi K2, Q13, you now have reasoning models that help you think. And so the reason why I was so excited is if each pass of a thought is energy efficient, then you can think for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
The last question from me is that we see this capital being applied to human capital in a way that we never thought was possible. It used to be NBA players signing $300 million contracts. Now it's model researchers. And then there was a post this weekend that said that there was a person that was offered $1 billion over 4 years by Meta. Now, if that's happening at this layer, why hasn't it happened at your layer? Because you are the enabler of all of that. And how do you think all of this human capital is going to actually play out?
First of all, I've created more billionaires on my management team than any CEO in the world. They're doing just fine. Okay, and so, and they're doing. Don't feel sad for anybody at my layer.
Yeah, everybody's doing okay.
Yeah, my layer is doing just fine. But the big idea though is that you're highlighting is that the impact of 150 or so AI researchers can probably create, with enough funding behind them, create an open AI. It's not a
150 people.
Yeah, well, DeepSeek's 150 people.
Right.
Moonshot's 150 people. Right?
Crazy.
And so, I mean, look at the original OpenAI was about 150 people.
Yep.
DeepMind, and they're all about that size. I think there's something about the elegance of small teams, and that's not a small team. That's a good sized team with the right infrastructure. And so that kind of tells you something. 150 people, if you're willing to pay say $20 billion, $30 billion to buy a startup with 150 AI researchers, why wouldn't you pay one?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of options,
By the way,
somebody told me
we need to wrap because
but
we have the
I'm going to do
secretary-
this one
Okay.
question. Somebody who was inside your organization told me with the options that you have a secret pool of options, and that you will randomly just, if somebody does a great job, drop a bunch of RSUs on top of them, and that you have this like little bag of options you carry around, and that you give
That's
them out.
nuts.
Is that true?
Yeah, I'm carrying it in my pocket right now. So listen, so this is what happens. I review everybody's compensation up to this day
Yeah.
at the end of every cycle when they present it, and they send me everybody's recommended comp. I go through the whole company. I've got my methods of doing that, and I use machine learning. I do all kinds of technology, and I sort through all 42,000 employees, and 100% of the time I increase the company's spend on OpEx. And the reason for that is because you take care of people, everything else takes care of itself.
Yeah.
All right. Well
Jensen,
done.
thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Great to see you.
Nice
Great
to
to
see
see you.
We have an
Good
event in
job.
LA. We'd love to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
So we'll send you a note.
The world's
Yeah.
#1 podcast.
There you go.
Thank you.